The question is, when I meet people, there are some people that I feel like an intuitive and instinctive aversion to. That I see them and it's like, don't want anything to do with them. And other people, I feel an immediate affinity to them.
Everybody that's coming into your experience is coming because law of attraction is matching you up. It has to be that way. So these are great gifts that they are bringing you, because if somebody is in your experience and you're not liking what you're seeing, then there's an aspect of you that's really vibrantly alive that is causing that to happen, which always gives you an opportunity to sift through the contrast and make more decisions about what you are wanting. The format of your question sort of implies that, so here I am, this neutral person moving through life, forgetting all about law of attraction. And some people show up in my experience and we say, and how is that happening? That's the thing that we're wanting to point back to. How is that happening?
Well, that's actually the essence of my question. Say the person that I really have an aversion to. Is this someone that I have had a connection to in a previous incarnation where we had some...
It might be, but it usually isn't. What it is it's somebody who is vibrationally very much like somebody that you've been pushing against for quite a long time. In other words, you've just picked up along your physical trail habits of thought about certain people. In other words, when you say, oh, that person really bugs me, you're just setting yourself up for meeting a whole bunch of people like that. And it's not because you had past lives together. It's because something in your vibration now is activating it within you now, and law of attraction's matching you up now. It is true, when you meet someone who you really have strong feelings about, sometimes you just feel like you're coming home. And often it is someone who is of the same vibrational, non-physical nature, and there is a recognition within you. And sometimes when you meet somebody and you just feel such strong negative emotion about it, sometimes they also are from your non-physical cluster. The reason that you activate within each other this strong negative emotion is because in coming together you remind one another of who you really are and how you really are supposed to feel. And in your aggravated state, you just amplify each other's awareness that you're nowhere near the connection with your source energy that you are wanting to be. But we would not spend any time, we really would not, trying to identify old friends from non-physical. We would spend all of our time trying to line us up with us. Did you get that?
Yes.
Trying to line us up with us. In other words, nothing is more important than that I feel good, because when I feel good, I'm in alignment with my source energy. And when I'm in alignment with my source energy, everything it goes well for me.
So let's assume for the moment that I have run into someone across the crowded room. It's like, yuck. My usual response to that is just to go somewhere else, not further any communication or connection to that person.
And yet we're talking about it.
Okay. Well, I want to know if
In
there's
other
another
words,
strategy.
It's sort of like you're not talking to us about the bad tasting food on the buffet, because it doesn't feel to you like it's jumping into your experience. So why are we having this conversation about this person? Why can't you just turn your attention somewhere else and have a different experience?
Okay, so essentially what you're saying, the strategy is correct. If there's, that person I don't like, I'm just not going to put any attention over there at all. But I guess I really want to minimize the number of people in my experience that I ever have that experience with.
Well, what we think that there's another strategy in your terms that would work even better for you. When you're feeling negative emotion, rather than saying, oh, that person I don't like for whatever reason, let me see if there's a person that I can find that I do like. Instead, we would stop and say, I'm having negative emotion, which means right now, in this moment, I'm using that person as my excuse to not allow myself to feel good. There's some reason that I'm using that as my excuse not to feel good, and often it's because it reminds you of something else. And there are many who would say, well, if you just look someplace else, then isn't that potential thing still within you that could be activated again? And we say, yes, and if it really bothers you, it's probably going to come up again and again and again and again and again, because as you move through crowds, there are people vibrating all over the place. And that's what makes physical humans want to control the behavior of others, is because as you walk about, you feel like you're being buffeted about sort of unfairly. The strategy that we would use is when we are not in a crowd, we would meditate. We would practice thoughts that feel good. We would pet our cat. We would go to our virtual reality. We would train ourselves into this predominant vibration of feeling good so that when we walk into a crowd, our vibration of feeling good is so dominant that only those that match our vibration would come into our arena.
Okay.
You see, you're giving others too much power as you even acknowledge how they make you feel. What you've got to decide is how I'm going to feel. I'm going to go to that party and I'm going to feel good. We would go to a virtual reality party before we would ever go to a party. And we would practice feeling good. We would practice looking good. We would practice being rested. We would practice being high. We would practice being funny. We would practice being at the top of our game. We would practice being beautiful. We would practice being dressed just right. We would practice interacting with people that are stimulating. We would practice the life of the party revolving around you. We would practice people coming that are really stimulating. We would practice the best part of the party being wherever you are, wherever you're going. We would practice the party being over. We would practice the party having been really fun. We would practice lying in our bed and feeling fully satisfied about the party that we'd been to. In other words, we would have a party long before the party. And when you've brought yourself to that place of vibration, then anybody who's not up to speed with where you are, they just gravitate into other places. They don't even end up where you are. They become a non-issue. But when you walk in and right away you gravitate to the last person on earth that you want to spend time with, it's because you've been in a virtual reality with them already. Manifestations come on the heels of what you've conjured in thought. So sometimes what happens is you'll go to a party, it will be uneventful, and then you practice the idea of uneventful parties. Or you'll go to a party and there won't be anyone interesting, so you practice the idea of uninteresting parties. And without realizing it, you're going to a virtual reality and you're practicing boring people coming to you, or you're practicing people that are annoying coming to you. Oh, yeah, you talk to your friend, oh yeah, I went to this party and this person just would not leave me alone. I had the worst time. Finally, I just drug myself out of there and gasped for air. That's a virtual reality too. In other words, you're setting yourself up for all of that too. Just focus upon law of attraction and how powerful it is. Jerry said something to Esther one morning recently that was so beneficial to both of them. He had had a very specific, very easy to recall dream. It was vivid. And he said to Esther, "It occurs to me," having heard us say it on many occasions, but in this moment he knew it so powerfully. I put every person in my dream. I gave them their attitudes toward me. I put the words in their mouth. Everything that every person said to me in the dream, I wrote the script. In other words, it was all my doing. And of course we say, that's true of everything that you are living. It is all your doing. And so what we are imploring you to do is to write scripts that please you and to understand that you have the power to do it. You have the power to write the scripts that please you. It's why you're here. It's what creating is. All day, every day you are asking. Through the contrast that you are deciphering, preferences are being born, and the preferences are being continually amended. In other words, you desire and you desire and you desire and you desire. You cannot stop reaching the new place from which new desire is born. So your desire is a continually expanding thing. And over time, as your preferences shoot out of you vibrationally, they get more and 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 more specific. And source energy holds every bit of that information. In other words, sometimes you are not even consciously aware of the precision with which you are asking, because you come to believe that your asking comes with words. And sometimes it does. Sometimes your words even match your desire. But you're asking constantly, and source energy is answering constantly. And what this seminar is really about is helping you to find more and more moments where you're letting in what you're asking for. And the point that we're wanting to make here, while we still have your attention on this subject of step 1, step 2, step 3, is that you don't even have to be thinking about what you want to be fully letting it in. Let's say you have a very hard day at work, and a lot of things go wrong. And in the process of that, All kinds of clear desire is born within you. Improvements about this, improvements about that, better ways of doing this, desires about interpersonal relationships, desires about functions, desires about computers or mechanics, desires about economy, desires about the way the economy works, desires about the manufacturing that goes on in your plant, desires all day long shooting out of you. And then you could go home, get in the hot tub, take a glass of something that pleases you to drink and a friend, and just relax. And in your relaxing, not thinking about work mode, you could let in all of the things that earlier that day you identified in your haste or in your trauma. We tease our friends. We say you could pet your cat and all your dreams would come true if petting your cat is a pleasurable thing to you. Much of your day, you will be fine-tuning desire. But if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would let our conscious, deliberate work be about relaxing and letting the well-being in. Living happily ever after and getting everything that you want is about relaxing and letting in the well-being that you deserve, that you've been calling for, the well-being that wants to come to you. And we think sometimes as we watch so many of our physical friends that somehow in banging around in this contrast and in watching television and watching the distortion that is presented to you, you have the impression that well-being must be worked for and earned. And if you're lucky, you might get a little bit of it, while the order of the day is tragedy and trauma that you've got to be guarded and fearful of and watch out for. And we really want to bring you back around to the place that you knew when you were born into this body, that well-being is the order. Health is your natural state of being. Clarity is your natural state of being. Joy is your natural state of being. Having a very good time is your natural state of being. You are naturally joyous, productive, yes, joyful, productive, joy-seeking beings. And so we want to impress you with the knowing that well-being wants in your experience. It wants in. You've been asking for it long before you came into this physical body. It is the entire order of things. And you must accept that when you look at this magnificent earth spinning in its orbit. Doesn't that somewhere give you some little hint, somewhere that there is some well-being happening? Do you realize the extraordinary nature of your time-space reality? Can you fathom the well-being that is around you? Well-being is so huge in comparison with the pockets of resistance that sometimes show up that your news wants to emphasize and make you think that everything is wrong. And so well-being is flowing to you, and you are a full receiver of it if you are letting it in. And if you are not a full receiver of it, it can be for only one reason. You must be doing that thing you do that doesn't let it in. And that thing you do is always evidenced to you by negative emotion. Your negative emotion always lets you know that in that moment you are holding some thought that has you in a twisted vibrational state where you are unwittingly, certainly unconsciously, we know you never would do it on purpose, not letting in the well-being that you, your very self, from your own very personal perspective, have made a request for. Source energy holds no grudges, however. In other words, have you ever had someone ask you for your opinion and you give it to them and then they ignore you altogether? Well, we're used to that with you. But we hold no grudges. In other words, sometimes a parent will say, no, you cannot have that to eat because you asked for that and you didn't eat it, and so now you just have to do without. Source energy never says anything like that. Source energy says, you have asked, and we will continue to flow it to you for as long as you shall live, which is eternally. And at any point in time that you want, you can soften and relax and get in the hot tub and pet your cat and let it in, or you can tense and worry and struggle and strive and suffer and not. It is your choice. But you deserve well-being, and it flows to you. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would work on getting into the allowing mode. We would make allowing an art. We would practice it more artfully than we learn our computer. We would practice it more artfully than we learn to move in traffic. We would practice it more artfully than we would learn to paint paintings or sculptures. We would learn the art of allowing, because in learning that nothing is more important than that you feel good, then you let in all of the good stuff that you so much deserve.